You and I have examined the many different types of workload migrations that could exist for us, like physical to virtual or virtual to virtual. Now that we've got that behind us, let's talk about 4 areas that we need to consider when it comes to workload migration. That's source and destination formats, network connections, standard operating procedures, and environmental constraints we might run up against. When it comes to the source and destination format of our workload, sure, we're talking about the virtualization format itself, but we also need to think about the workload itself. In other words, is this a batch type of workload that we're moving? Is it an analytical workload? Is it more of just database data? Is it transactional workloads that we're working with? Because the type of workload that we're interested in migrating often is going to give us clues as to how quickly we need the migration to take place, what type of testing we're going to need to do against the migration, etc. When it comes to formats, we're seeing more and more standardization when it comes to moving like container workloads or entire virtual machines. A format that we should be familiar with is the OVF, open source format for moving virtual machines. This stands for Open Virtualization Format, and this is something that many organizations, including VMware, are going to utilize in order to give standardization to virtual machine workloads. Something else we need to consider, though, is just how portable is the application and data when we're moving application workloads. There are many legacy technologies that aren't going to be as portable as far as the application goes and the data the application needs. So do analyze that to figure out just how much work you might have to go through in order to move the app and the data when you're doing such a migration. Also, really make sure that you plan the network connectivity and the data transfer methodology that you're going to use. We're concerned about bandwidth, which we have listed here under environmental constraints. This is always a concern for us, having enough bandwidth for the migration. Different vendors will offer different solutions, remember, for this. For instance, Amazon Web Services offers what they call Direct Connect to improve bandwidth to Amazon Web Services infrastructure, but they often also will ship out the Snowball feature, which is how you can move massive quantities of workloads inside a shipping container. If that's not enough, they offer Snowmobile, where a big advanced technology semi-tractor trailer truck pulls up to your facility and you do an entire petabyte scale movement of your data. Standard operating procedures also need to be followed when we're workload migrating, so be aware of that. And then other environmental constraints deal with things like working hour restrictions, where you might not be able to do the migration due to employees that are utilizing the technology. Downtime impact, peak time frames of usage typically need to be avoided when we're migrating, legal restrictions if we're going overseas. And then the follow the sun constraint. What this refers to is making sure workload resources are available in every region of the world where you operate when the sun comes up. That's the concept there. So oftentimes we're in that position where we have to make sure workloads are available all around the globe for sunup in that region, and this can be an environmental constraint that we operate within. Remember, the various cloud vendors that you might be working with are all going to have tools that can assist with workload migrations. So for each vendor, for the vendor that you're using, typically multiple vendors that you're using, make sure you do the research on what migration tools they have that can assist you.